Thank you. Yes, my name is Joonas Pekkanen. I'm a recovering startup entrepreneur. 2 years ago, I decided to move into the civil society space and founded a civil society organization called the Open Ministry in Finland. And the backdrop is that 2 years ago in Finland, the Parliament passed the Citizens Initiative Act and amended the constitution of Finland. They added a clause in the constitution that if 50,000 Finnish voting citizens with the voting right support a proposal, the Parliament has to process it. And it's processed actually the same way as government bills. It's a strong constitutional right now, the newest basic right for Finnish citizens. So that's important because it sets it aside from e-petitions and such, which merit kind of a much smaller response from the government. So what we do, what Open Ministry does is facilitating, helping citizens and any civil society organizations in their attempt to change the law, and for many active citizens and civil society organizations, changing the policy and changing the laws is exactly what they're attempting to do. And the way we do this is by developing tools, testing out existing tools, and both offline and online for people to discover ideas that some other people have already suggested, helping them in discussing and deliberating on those ideas, coming up with not necessarily a consensus, but being able to work together as a group in actually drafting out those ideas after the discussion into preferably law proposal format. We bring in volunteer lawyers and campaign experts. We help them in setting up crowdfunding for their campaigns. We give them all the lessons learned from all the previous campaigns that we have been helping out. And much of it is kind of situational, depending on which people and which organizations are involved. Different tools apply. We've been helping them out set up wiki pages using Etherpads and Google Docs for crowd editing of the proposals, different decision-making platforms, mailing lists, and so on. Many of the people are not that tech savvy, so there's a lot of basic information they need to be able to crowdsource their effort. So what we've done so far is collect about 500 ideas through our web pages. There's been no trolling. People have been taking it very kind of seriously, not kidding around. About 50 of the ideas have developed into some stage of a draft. With us helping them and bringing in volunteers to help them. 5 have so far been able to collect the 50,000 supporters, and none have yet resulted in law. Only 1 has so far been processed by the Parliament, and there's 4 now going to be debated by the Parliament. The first one, which was voted down by the Parliament, was an initiative to ban the farming of animals for their furs. And as you can see, they collected practically all of their support on paper because the online collection tool was not available yet when they ran their campaign. The second initiative, which we were also present at handing to the Speaker of the Parliament the day before yesterday, the same day I left towards Strasbourg, is on copyright reform. And that's a law proposal with more than a dozen different amendments to the current copyright legislation in Finland. The most support has been for the Gay Marriages Act. The 2 others are are the Swedish language, making it non-mandatory in Finnish education system, and one on changing the energy certificates law. For the same-sex marriages, there was a MP-led initiative originally that was voted down or not taken to not processed by the committee in Parliament, and that gave a lot of publicity running up to the launch of the campaign we helped prepare, and it collected more than 100,000, more than double the needed support online the very first day it was launched this spring on the 19th of March. And that will be handed to the Parliament in a few weeks on the 13th of December. This is the graph you see. It got more than 100,000 the very first day, and after that it was sure to pass, so it didn't get that many more supporters during the 6 months that we have in Finland to collect the necessary support. I mentioned the copyright reform. That was a big crowdsourced effort also with more than 1,000 people taking part before it was finalized and started the 6-month campaign that ended in July, and day before yesterday it was given to the Parliament, which will now start processing it. There was a hockey stick in the end, and it just made the 50,000 at the nick of time. Currently we're working on tens of projects. One of the big discussions, I think, will be the one on separating church and state in Finland, which will launch this winter. And that kind of shows what the power is, because this Citizens Initiative Act is such a powerful tool, as I mentioned, in the Constitution, and being able to support them online means that now the monopoly of the politicians to set their own agenda is historically broken. So all kind of issues that are politically hot potatoes or otherwise not convenient for the politicians, and can now be forced onto the Parliament's agenda by the people themselves. And it gives them a way to participate, obviously, between elections. What the online part of this takes care of is that, and the way it improves democracy, is that the costs of campaigning are very low. It's not no longer reserved for strong lobby organizations with deep pockets, or the opposition parties with a lot of visibility to rally up the groups. All of these initiatives, the 5 so far, have been done with very little money put into the campaign. And this offers huge potential for crowdsourcing, as I mentioned, and that's the angle we are looking at it from. We have yet to see quick reactions, but the possibility that was proven that within 1 day you can gather the needed support if the issue is pressing enough, that hopefully will start putting pressure on the politicians also to act properly between election cycles. This is a tool for improving the engagement of the youth, and I was very happy to hear just a few weeks ago that there is now consensus between all the Finnish parties that during next spring, most probably the age limit of this citizens initiative will be dropped from the current 18 years old to 15 years of age, and that will obviously make this even more powerful and more used institution going forward. Thanks.
Okay.